Hello, everyone. Before we begin, I want to let you know that I have two books available for sale. One is my collection of short horror stories called The Things That Happen at Night, and the other one is my standalone novelette called Brookhaven, a slasher comedy. You can find the links for those down below if you want to purchase them. You can also find my social media down there, sign up for my newsletter, and read some free stories over on Wattpad, written by me. All right, let's get on with the video. All right. So the book I'm going to be discussing today is called Only the Stains Remain by Ross Jeffrey. This book came out this year, and this is a tale about family, betrayal, grief, and most of all, a story about revenge. And it's probably one of those that a lot of people are, and rightfully so, will consider disturbing because of the content. It is a very dark, bleak, evocative book. We have two brothers, an older brother and a younger brother, and their mother dies, and that's bad enough. Of course, it's always sad when you lose a family member. However, this means more to them, as they'll find out, because their mother's brothers, their uncles, she has kind of been protecting the boys from these men for most of their lives. And now that she's gone, her uncles decide to start coming around. Now, their father, due to the loss of his wife, spins into an out-of-control alcoholism that quickly turns abusive physically for the boys. He doesn't like them anymore because, according to him, every time he sees them, it reminds their father of the mother. So when the uncles move in, and you should know that these men are vile predators, is what they are. And it doesn't take long for the abuse to start in all manner of ways. I'm just going to leave it at that because it's horrific, it's terrifying, it's disgusting what these men put these boys through. And you'll understand once you read why those parts of the book are probably the most disturbing. But one of the brothers is now an adult, and he is doing the one thing he promised that he would do. One of the last things he promised his brother, and that is to get revenge on these men, to make sure that they pay and they suffer for the trauma that was inflicted upon them when they were growing up. And as a man, as he's going about exacting his revenge on these people, he is scarred. He is scarred emotionally. He is scarred physically. And you can tell that he has not led any kind of life because of what happened to him and his brother when they were younger. Now, the abuse here is like I said, it's horrifying. It's emotional abuse. It's physical abuse. It is sexual abuse. These boys are treated as objects for these disgusting men. According to them, they own these boys. These boys belong to them, and they can do whatever they want. All of their vilest, animalistic urges are released and unleashed upon these two boys. So this book isn't a happy-go-lucky, feel-good book, because even as he's exacting his revenge, even as this boy who is now a man is going about to fulfill that last promise he made to his brother, he's not doing it with a sense of cheerfulness or fun, or he's doing it almost as a burden, like everything else in his life has been up to that point. It's just something he has to do to fulfill that promise. And I really love how this author, this book does get graphic. There is going to be a lot of blood and a lot of images that are going to affect you almost like a punch to the gut because they are so disgusting. When you're dealing with this subject matter, of course it's going to be. But this author does a great job of, there's a line when you're writing about these things that would be very easy to cross for some writers. From giving us enough information and having us know what's going on to crossing over into almost gratuitous graphic descriptions of and details of that abuse. But this author knows where that line is, and he never crosses it. He gives us enough information so we are disgusted, but he doesn't go into graphic detail about all of this abuse that happens. He gives us enough information so that we can see it in our minds. We know what's going on. You know what they say, even in a horror movie, or in this case, a horror book, sometimes it's the things you don't see that our minds, that our brains kind of fill in the blanks that's worse than actually showing it. And this is a great example of that, because yes, you will feel disgusted. These men are savage. They are brutes. They are men who not only cross the line, but they're not even aware a line exists. They justify all their actions. And even right up when we are getting a glimpse into how this boy who's now a man is exacting his revenge, even then, we feel no sympathy for these men. This is not a glorification of these things these men did. It's quite the opposite. The way I felt was, I'm glad these men got what happened to them. I think they deserved it. But even right up until the end, he never tries to justify what these men did. He never makes it feel like you should have some sympathy for these men, because they're characters that you should not feel sympathetic for. And as he's out doing this, we go back to the past and how all this came about, how he became the person he is, what happened in their youth. And then we get to see how he's fulfilling this promise to his brother. It's a very emotional, gut-wrenching story. There are no happy endings. You're not going to feel good after it's done. But that kind of emotion that this book evokes is very visceral. You'll feel this book and you'll put it down and you'll think about it long, long afterwards. I promise you that. I highly recommend this book. It is just a fantastic read. The author does a great job of writing the characters, and like I said, knowing where to toe that line between gratuitous scenes and just letting us know the basics and letting us figure it out. And it'll give you a case of the creeps. It's just very disturbing and creepy all the way through. And I highly recommend this book, Only the Stains Remain by Ross Jeffrey. And I will leave a link down below to Amazon if you want to purchase it for yourself. And as always, I want to say thank you for taking some of your time, spending it here with me. I really appreciate you guys watching. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.